Gonna go ahead. So the project we are going to launch today has a lot of parts to it. So I just want to make sure that we all know where these parts or documents are located. And they're on Google Classroom under Math. Today's date is May 18th. It's Tuesday. And it says design your own zoo. So before we get started on what does that mean, I will tell you that this project is all about area and perimeter. So get your brains back in gear and be thinking about area and perimeter. I have blackboards you can email if you want to dad. Okay. So hopefully that reminded you how we find perimeter and how we find area. So we're going to look at a figure, and I want you in your math spiral to find first the area and then the perimeter. So the first figure we're going to look at is a 9 by 3 or 3 by 9. It depends on which way you turn it, right? You could have 9 rows of 3, so that'd be a 9 by 3, or you could turn it horizontally and then you have 3 rows of 9. So depending on how you want to look at it, we want to find the area of this rectangle. So how might I do that? After hearing the song again, Think about all you've learned this year. Gabe, what do you think? How do you find area of a rectangle? You could. So it's area equals length times width. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A 9 by 1, 2, 3. So I can find the area by multiplying 9 times 3. Or because of commutative property, I could do 3 times 9. You guys could use your 9s trick. So see if you can figure it out, and then we'll count and see if you're right. Lucas, you got your answer? Let's get your equation. Oopsie. Boop, boop, boop. I love that you're trying to use your strategies. You're figuring it out. Finn, what did you get? 27. Finn says 27. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. Count with me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Is the area 27? 27 square, and these are centimeters. So we heard from Gabe that you can find an area by counting the squares. I think because you're getting ready to be fourth graders very soon, that you should know when you are looking for area, you're multiplying the length times width. But I like the idea of doing the multiplication and then counting the squares to see if you're right. Check, Sawyer. Check your multiplication, right? Okay, now Sawyer, I want to find the perimeter, the distance around. What did the video or song tell us to do to find the perimeter of a rectangle? The perimeter, the distance around. So think about it like this. I want to put a fence around this rectangular space. And I want to know how many centimeters, or if this were an actual place, it'd probably be feet, right? Fencing that I might need. Maybe it's a garden. Maybe it's a dog run. How am I going to find that out, the perimeter? Yeah, remember, if it's perimeter, you add. You multiply for area and you add. So what do we already know about this side, Sawyer? Very good. So if this side is 9 centimeters, what is this side? 9 centimeters. And what is this side? 3, which means opposite sides are equal. So this one must be 3. Go ahead and find the perimeter. So you're going to do exactly what he said in any order you want, but you're adding all 4 sides to get the perimeter, the distance around. Remember, perimeter equals length plus width, or you could do length plus width plus length plus width. It really doesn't matter what order you add them, you should get the same sum. I see in my chat somebody has an answer for me. Very good. And that was Henry. Henry, do you want to unmute and share your thinking?
Here, start on this. I did. Once you're finished with I did 3 plus 3 is 6, and 9 plus 9 is 18, and added them up, and got 24.
And you had 18 plus 6, and you got 24. So that would just be centimeters. We would not say square centimeters because now we're just talking about the distance around, not the inside. We're not talking about squares. We're talking about length, right? Nicely done. All right, let's try another one. This time, Make it a little easier. You have a 9 by 5. Go ahead and find the area and perimeter of this one. A 9 by 5. Remember, area equals length times width. Perimeter equals length plus width plus width. I made this one easy. It might look like a lot of squares, but you can figure it out. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Robert, what are you thinking? Okay, Robert says area equals 45. How do you know? 45 square centimeters, right? So you should have done 9 times 5, right? Because the length is 9 and the width is 5. And to find area, we multiplied. So 5 by 9 and 9 by 5 rectangle. What about perimeter? That's a little trickier. Cooper, what did you get for perimeter? Can you prove it? Now, would that be square centimeters or just centimeters? Just centimeters. Very good. All right, let's try another one. Okay, here's your next one. This one's 7 by 4. Find the area, find the perimeter. Lennox, can I see your work? Let's get going, bud. Open up your book. Right now. Can I see your work? 7 by 4. Can I see your equations? So guys, when you write the equations, it helps you to remember how you find each of those. So write your equations. Don't just write the answers. Write the equations as well. And I will tell you, as you get older and the math gets harder, Mrs. Aubin and I both have kiddos in high school, and if they don't write down their equations, write in your work, they lose their, they lose their train of thought, and sometimes get the answer wrong when if they just written it down, would have remembered what they were doing and not missed it. Very important. I know it seems simple now, but if you get into the habit, when those equations get longer, you'll benefit. All right, Astria, what do you have for me? What's area first? Because 7 times 4 equals 28. And the perimeter, and that would have been square centimeters, right? Because it's the inside, the squares inside. What'd you get for perimeter? Did you do it? You want to tell? Let's see, we know it's 7 plus 7 plus 4 plus 4. Can you prove it?
7 plus 7 is 14. And 4 plus 4 is 8.
What's 14 plus 8? 22, and that's just centimeters. Let's make sure the area is right. I just want you to remember the area is the inside. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Were we right? We were right. Okay, I'm gonna pass out a rectangle to each one of you. You get your own. And when you get your own, everyone's gonna get a different one. You're gonna figure out the area and perimeter of it. Now, if you are remote or in second grade, I'm gonna put a few up here. You guys can decide which one you wanna do. But the remote kiddos get a choice, you guys don't. You can do more than one if you finish. These are for my remote and my second grade. Okay. You can do them all, do as many as you can. Go for it, remote learners. You guys are gonna grab one from me.
I got 6 times I know, I didn't even check my answer. Oh, I got it. You want me to take the...
All right, figure it out.
I have a new one.
I need to take one that's big. You got it. They're just doing this. Okay, if you finish one, you can trade with someone else who's finished. Ooh. Not for perimeter. Yeah.
I finished.
Make sure you do area and perimeter. Make sure you do area and perimeter. Once you have them done, then you can switch to somebody who's also done.
Okay, you guys want to...
Guys, don't forget, it looks like you guys are just doing area. I also want perimeter. Robert, are you doing the perimeter as well? Okay, make sure you do perimeter and area. Perimeter and area. Okay, bring me yours when you're done. We're not going to curate anymore. Bring me the one you have to put it in the back. If you're just finishing up, you make it up and then bring me yours. I was so there you go. I did five. I did Okay, so let's look at the remote learners and what they got. Ready to rock? Ready to roll. All right, so let's check, you guys. If you're remote and you chose the 7x6, you should have gotten, what do you guys think? Da, 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 da. 42 for the area. The perimeter would have been, you would have done 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7, right? Because it's a 6x7. So you should have gotten 26 if you did this one. How'd we do? All right. If you did this rectangular figure, an 8x5, here's the area. Ready, Ben? Ben Bowers, you ready? Look up here. Da, 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 da. Can you hear me, Ben? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? I want to make sure I'm not muted. Okay, good. All right. So 40. Did we do okay? Thanks, Ben. I just want to make sure I didn't mute myself. All right, perimeter for an 8x5. You should have added 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5, and that would have equaled 16 plus 10. You should have gotten 26. Yeah. Da, 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 da. All right, your next one. This one was tricky. A 12x4. Put it in your head. Drum roll. Da, 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 da. You should have gotten 48. And then perimeter would have been 12 plus 12 plus 4 plus 4. So this is 24. This equals 8. You would have gotten 32 for your perimeter. And if you would have chose the 12x1, drum roll, 12x1, area should have been 12. And then 12, 13, 14 for your perimeter. Okay, kiddos. Here we go. So what does this have to do with designing your own zoo? Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that. It looks like I got to watch it on YouTube. Oops. Okay, see if that helps. Oh, is it in 2 places?
She's just really talking quiet. Follow along with us. You look at how our designs have built those needs, and then you'll get to design your own exhibit at home that you can show us. A tiger exhibit here at Chapel is great for visitors because there's lots of viewing areas, a very natural, beautiful looking space, plenty of signs to teach us about tigers, and seating for the summertime when it gets really hot. We've got some shade for you. So right here that you can build is really simple. These animals have everything they need within their habitat. They've got tons of climbing Our brand new meerkat exhibit gives our visitors a really awesome opportunity to see the meerkat in a great natural looking exhibit. They'll be in with a few other species, so we'll get to see what they look like when they're interacting. There are plenty of different viewing windows, as well as a very cool bubble where you can see them right in the middle. Right here. A bubble. Wow. Part of what a zookeeper needs to make an exhibit really great for them is a space to be able to train with their animals. Zookeeper Julia can't go in with a bear, but she's got this perfect space with bars between her and our grizzly bear, Boo Boo, to make sure that they can get all of their behaviors completed. Can you get that? That's funny. Yeah.
Look at some of their exhibits. They really are making 3D models, aren't they? It's pretty cool. Okay. So we won't be able to do the models. We're going to do something a little different, but we are going to use our knowledge about, let's see, area and perimeter to help us design a zoo. And it'll look a little different. But before we do that, you need to know a little bit about what kind of habitats each animal lives in. So let's look at this. We're going to build our schema, and then I'll give you examples and guidelines on what our project's actually going to look like. I don't know why it's not liking the way I did it.
Animals' habitats. Forest. Tigers live in a forest. Bears live in a forest. Gorillas live in a forest. Savannah. Lions live in the savannah. Zebras live in a savannah. Giraffes live in a savannah. Ice. Polar bears live on ice in the Arctic. Penguins live on ice in Antarctica. House. Cats live in a house. Dogs live in a house. Birds live in a house. What?
Yeah.
Fish live in the sea. Starfish live in the sea. Crabs live in the sea. Ocean. Whales live in the ocean. Sharks live in the ocean.
Hey, third grade. I'm glad you're excited. I'm excited too, but I want us to be able to hear, okay? Thank you.
Cows live on a farm.
Finn, is that you, bud? Can you give me whole body listening? Thanks so much. Guys, not okay. Mrs. Harrison's class, please. Stop.
Desert.
Right here.
Camels live in the desert. Snakes live in the desert.
Bobby, not everything.
Goodbye.
Okay, so in order to think about your exhibit, you're going to want to know the habitat of the types of animals at your zoo. So here's examples from last year. We designed our own zoo, and I'm going to give you guidelines, but I wanted you to kind of see the final product. And this was one group's poster. We're going to be making a poster. And if you notice on this image, that if I zoom in, what do you see on the poster board?
Oh, black panda.
Marin, what do you see? Those, what are these here? For sure. Yep, we have photographs of animals. But if you look real close, you're going to see squares. Does anyone see a squares? The squares? So this is a special type of poster board, and it's like a graph paper, but it's on the poster board. And Josh, the reason we use this is because this whole project is based on using your knowledge of area and perimeter to create a zoo. So we want to practice our math skills and do something fun at the same time. So if you look, I'm going to zoom out a little. I liked how Marin mentioned there's a photograph of a red panda. Do you notice anything else besides just a photograph? Yeah, Lila Maris.
So I noticed two things. There's a P for perimeter.
P for perimeter, and it also says area.
And they built things for the animals.
Okay, so she said they built things. I wouldn't say they built anything, but they drew the habitat, right? Can you see trees in some of these? Like if we come over to this side, we can tell that they knew a little bit about what the animal might need in their habitat. So you can see there's snakes, they have leopards, they even, looks like poison dart frog over here. I can't tell for sure. Giraffes. So you do this, but then I have to be able to scroll it a little. Yeah. So what I want you to see, this is just one of the examples, but you and your team are going to decide what type of animals you want in your zoo, and then what size habitat will, or enclosure will each type of animal have. Now there's more to this than this final. I'm going to show you another one. Here's another group's. And you can tell everybody does things a little differently, right? They have some printed pictures, some printed words, some are drawn. But the biggest thing is that everybody had area and perimeter. They had to do it on a worksheet, which you will get too. If you were a remote learner, those were sent home with your junior achievement stuff. But if you look close up here where it says wild red panda, it says area equals 143 square centimeters. But you would need more for a red panda than centimeters. So we're going to expect that those units are going to be representative of a larger unit. And we'll talk about that as we go. So what's kind of cool in this, you can even see the pathways between the exhibits. There looks like they have a restroom, girls and boys. Up here, they have a food area. It says Yum Food. A lot of the groups named the exhibits, like we have very fast leopards, is what they called it. Wild African Zoo is the name of their zoo, because you will also be naming your zoo. So these are on the Google Classroom assignment today. But as we get going, I'm going to kind of share with you the expectations. And here's what the expectations are. It's a design thinking project, and the town of Conifer has decided to build a zoo. Wouldn't that be cool? As an applicant for the position of zoo engineer, you will be required to prove your competence in all things zoo. The Conifer Zoo believes it's critical for their success to have animals that are the happiest in the history of the universe. So they need exhibit spaces that meet their needs. In this assignment, you must have strong area and perimeter skills to meet the needs of the animals. You will draw and label the diagrams with dimensions and area for each animal on the grid. Each square in the grid represents a yard, 1 square yard, because we don't want centimeters for our elephants, do we? No, we're going to need a big amount. So think of a yardstick, right? So if each one of those is a yardstick, this is a yard. Lennox, Evie, this is a yardstick, right? It's 3 feet. So each side of this square will be a yard. So it's going to this is just a model. So you got to realize it'll be much larger in life if they were to take your plan. If your exhibits are too small, the animals will escape. If they are too big, you will run out of space. Here are some of the must things that you will need. Must have 10 different animal exhibits. So you're going to have to decide on 10 animals. You must include at least 2 different, I'm not doing questions, so put your hands down. I will do questions, just not yet, because I bet I'm going to answer them as you let me teach this, all right? So you're going to have 10 different animal exhibits in your zoo. You're going to need to include at least 2 different bonus areas. And you're probably saying, what's a bonus area? Bonus areas are restrooms. You're going to have, you could have a snack shack. You could have, you know, popcorn stand. I'm not doing questions yet. I promise I'll do them at the end. So hold your questions. You must have pathways to get to each exhibit. So you noticed in that last poster I shared, they had those gray, like little roads almost going through the zoo. You're going to label, color, and provide a picture for each exhibit. It does not have to be a printed picture. It can be. You could color it. You could color it on paper, cut it out, and glue it on. You should have a unique and creative name for your zoo. So you and your team members will come up with a name for your zoo. Use your zoo planning sheet as a guide when completing your poster. So you're not going to get your poster today. Now, if you're remote, I know you've already been given your poster. Put it to the side because we're not ready for the poster yet. So this is a good source. I'll be keeping this up for us to look at so you know what you need. But I also wanted to share some other things that we need. In your Google Classroom, you will also see, it says Design Your Own Zoo PDF. And I have a copy of this for you guys, and you should have this at home as well. So here's a list of animals to help you plan your zoo. This is done in square feet. We said we were going to use square yards just because we thought it might be better, but this is still a good idea. You don't really need the list of the area. We're not going to follow the areas exactly, but we are going to use the list to help us know which animals are going to need a larger area than others. So it says that if one zebra requires 2,000 square feet, then 2 zebras would require 4,000. So you've got to think about if you're going to have more than 1 zebra, you're going to need a bigger space. And you probably want your animals to be happy. So you have to think, do they want to be alone or do they want company? Maybe you need to research that. Do they like to be alone, or are they a type of animal that needs to have another one with them? You may also use animals that are not on this list. Just make a reasonable estimate for the area. So if you notice which animal really are going to need large areas. Sunny, what are some animals that are going to need large areas? Elephant for sure. And I can make this bigger. What else? Marin. Rhinoceros definitely are going to need a big area. What are you thinking, Lila Maris? Gorillas? So let's see, I don't see the gorilla on here, but if I zoom out. Dude, don't want to zoom out that much. How much did they say for the gorilla? 2,000, they must have left off that 0. Lions, what about a leopard? Look how much that needs. And the panthers, they need a lot, right? What animal doesn't need very much space? So if you wanted to do a smaller rectangular, which one would it be, Max Fox? Okay, a lizard. What else? Cooper. A porcupine. What else? Marin. A lemur. Look at these that only need 100. Right, Madison? Which one? How much does a koala need? 500. Not quite as much, but it's not one of the smallest. If you look down here, a poison dart frog, a bullfrog, a toad, a newt, a salamander, they only need 100 square feet. So you would really, these are the smallest animals, right? So when you look at this, you'll see. Now here, what type of rectangle you need for that enclosure for that animal. You also see you have a bonus area little chart here. If you need to include 2 of these, I highly recommend a restroom, because I know when I go to the zoo, I want to be able to use the restroom. So I kind of think that's a required space for everybody. But then you could choose, do you want to have a kiddie splash pad, an auditorium for shows? A concession stand is just a place to buy food, gift shops. You could do a playground or zoo equipment room. If you have space on your board, Sawyer, you could do more than 1 bonus room, bonus area, but you need to have at least 2. Make sure you have a restroom. Just be nice to your people. Now, this is the chart. Once you kind of get your plan, this is the chart you're going to use to record the area and perimeter of each exhibit. The type of animal is what you're going to write for the exhibit. So if it's elephant, you write elephant under exhibit. You will tell us the area and the perimeter for that exhibit. So if you had playful penguins, remember when I said you can come up with fun names? You might have wild and crazy gorillas. And so that's what you'll write under exhibit name, then you'll tell the area and perimeter. This is what I'm going to be grading. This is where I get your grade, right? I'll also be looking at your posters. All right, so those will come, you'll get a copy of these when you're in your group. The next thing I wanted to show you, let's get back to my 100%. Yeah, I hate when that happens. Okay, the next thing I wanted to share with you before I let you work on your plan is, you're gonna get your teams. But before I give you your teams, each team will be getting a piece of paper. You'll get the papers with the animal names, but you'll also get a plan. So if you're at home, you're gonna use any blank sheet of paper. On your paper, you and your team are gonna pretend this is your poster. And then you're gonna think about the animals. You're gonna need to check which animals you want. So you're gonna have this list. So maybe you've decided on your 10, right? Maybe you guys, you don't want to have all large animals. The problem with that would be what, Gabe? If I chose, okay, we'll do zebra, elephant, giraffe, hippo, rhinoceros, all those large ones, ostrich, emu, eagle. What's the problem with that? What's going to happen, Gabe? Yeah, you're going to run out of room on your poster. So not a good idea to pick all large animals. Can you pick a few? Yeah, and then should we pick some smaller ones? Yeah, notice you can pick some that have like 500. That doesn't mean that's going to be the area of your enclosure. You're going to do your best, right? It's not going to be exact, but this is just a guideline to help you see, wow, these need a lot of space. These need a smaller space. These need a middle amount of space and so forth. So you get to pick 10. So I would say the first thing you do, and remote learners, I know you guys are doing this on your own. I would take this sheet of paper and circle 10 animals, and it doesn't have to be on this sheet. If there's another animal you guys want to include instead, you can do that. Okay, so but I would pick some from this list for sure. Then you're going to turn this over and you're going to circle the bonus areas you want to have. That's your first step. Who can tell me what I just said? Who can repeat it? Ellie?
On that sheet, you can circle, well, you have to circle 10 animals on it, but if you want to have another one that's not on there,
Just add it maybe on the bottom or on the back.
and then you circle 2 of the
Bonus rooms or areas. Why do I call them bonus rooms? It's like it's HGTV. I think I watched too much of that. Bonus areas. Okay, then, thank you, Ellie, for that great summary. Then you're going to be thinking about, you've got a lot to plan before you're going to get your poster. You will think of a title for your zoo, blank zoo. You'll want your names up here. Then you're going to have to figure out where's the entrance. Is it going to go horizontally or vertically? Then you're going to have to draw some squares. Are you going to actually do the area on your plan? No. Maybe I want elephants here. So you're going to write elephants, and maybe since you're doing your plan, you could come up with your name, your creative name for your elephants. Elegant elephants. I don't know what you want yours to be, but so then maybe the elephants are going to be there. Maybe this is the entrance to your zoo. You want to know where you're going to come in. So right away, you're going to see those elephants. Leave a path. Make sure you have paths. Maybe over here is going to be reptile run. I don't know. And inside you're going to have some snakes. You decide. So you'll have smaller rectangular figures for the smaller animals. Maybe right here is going to be the bathrooms. You know, you want to add those bathrooms. Maybe they're going to be by the entrance like they are at the Denver Zoo. But don't put them right next to each other. Why would I not want the animals right next to each other? Lucas, why would that be a bad idea? Well, will you be able to see the animals if they're right up next to you? You have to be able to walk around them, right? So make sure you have a path. There should be paths in between your exhibits. Remember, you have 10 animals, 2 bonus rooms. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to think about my space. That's going to be your plan. So today, what I expect to get done today is you figure out your animals, your 10 animals, your 2 bonus areas. You work on your plan. If you don't finish your plan today, that is fine, but you work on your plan and what it might look like. You don't have to figure out area or perimeter today. That's not for today. Questions? Josh? I don't think you'll have room, so let's stick to the 10. Yes.
I didn't know another reason why you don't want the cage turner.
Okay.
Because the animals might be right next to each other. They think they're about to fight.
So that could cause problems, Abby said, if the animals are right next to each other, it could cause friction and tension. Questions?
Can we do a hospital as a bonus?
A hospital for like the veterinary for the animals? Sure. She asked, Astria asked if you could do like a little animal hospital as a bonus area. Yes. Surname? Yes. Robert? No, you do not get to choose, but yes, you are in groups. Yes, Josh. Sure. He said, can you do more than one bathroom? Yes. Yes, Mrs. Harrison.
Katie was wondering if you could work with someone
That'd be, all 3 of them could work together. That'd be perfect. So I'll get their papers in just a second. Okay. All right, then. 2nd graders, you're going to work together. Mrs. Harrison and I will make sure you get your materials. I'm going to stop sharing. Actually, let me stop sharing just to make sure I want to see everybody. How are we feeling about this project so far? How are we feeling? Do you think you know what you're going to do? You have the papers. So they were in your junior achievement journal. Henry and Reese and Katie, your papers are coming. Ben, you doing okay? All right, then. I'm going to be here. If you have questions, I'm going to get my kiddos in person ready. So you may get started. So this is my... There's something in my hand at first.
No, I don't know. I'm not thinking of that other sheet yet.
That's fine.
I think this is
Perfect. And the white L and I can agree. Yeah, just give them one. Okay. All right, so my kiddos here want to see who they're going to be with. So I'm going to share my screen. You have to know who your partners are. When you have your partners, you can come get your papers. So the zoo teams are as follows. Elena, Evie, and Ethan. I don't think Ethan is here, so it's going to be Elena and Evie. Come see me. There you go. Make sure you put your name on your papers. Madison, Cernay, and Max, come see me. Make sure you put your name on your papers. Cernay's in the restroom, so we'll make sure she knows. Marin, Abby, and Henrik. Sunny, Haley, and Gabe. Lyric isn't here, but Lila and August. Lyric is back. Bird, Ellie, and Sawyer. I haven't called you. Bird, Ellie, and Sawyer. Sawyer, make sure you know. Charlie, Josh, Carter, and Lennox. All right, Lucas, Paxton, and Astria. No. Put that away, right? Don't let that be out or you're gonna get it taken. Put it in your backpack. Finn, Cooper, and Josh Lewis, and Max Deesberg and Robert. Max Deesberg and Robert. Robert. All right. And they're good.